After 25 years, Ash Ketchum is leaving the Pokémon anime. Like a lot of other people, this is a pretty bittersweet moment for me. I remember meeting Ash in 1998. I was only 4 years old, watching the first episode of the anime and being absolutely blown away by it. And well, Ash has been with me ever since. We've all seen Ash's ups and downs, and his maturing and his growth as a trainer mirrors the growth of Pokemon's audience. Winning the World Championship perfectly capped an amazing journey. Straight away, we all started thinking, what's next? How can Ash carry on a journey now that he's the World Champion? And as we later found out, new characters are going to take his place. But before Ash's finale airs, I wanted to take the chance to pay my own tribute to him. The anime was my introduction to Pokemon, and despite all his goofiness, I love Ash. So, I've combined my usual format of pitting Pokemon characters against each other in AI simulated battles with Ash's final team from his 8 Pokémon League appearances. Not you, Orange Islands. All with the aim of finding out which of his league teams is the strongest, even though we probably know the answer already. A little while back, a PokeTuber posted a video ranking all of Ash's final league teams. You may even have heard of him. His name's Wolfie VGC. Yeah, you know him, world champ difference. Anyway, Wolfie ranked Ash's league teams on how good they could be competitively, from 8th ranked Unova to the top ranked world champion team Ash used in Galar. I've used Wolf's rankings to seed Ash's teams into a short knockout bracket, so that 2 instances of the same AI bot can battle it out to find which one is the strongest. But before we get to the battles, the ground rules. Firstly, as always, I'm using Pokemon Showdown for these battles. And like Wolf in his video, I'm using the team that Ash had in his final battle in each respective league. This is unfortunate for some like Vicino, where Ash used amazing Pokemon like Infernape and Gliscor, Staraptor and Torterra in his battle against Paul, but then he used none of them in his semi-final loss to Tobias. Oh, Ash. Now, because I'm using the final team that Ash had in each league, I haven't changed things like this. But for Kanto and for Alola, where Ash's final battles were 3-on-3, I have bulked these teams out to 6. For Kanto, Ash also used Kingler and Muck during his league battles, which joined Pikachu, Squirtle and Charizard on his team. And on the day of his last battle, Ash's Pidgeotto was too tired to battle, but he also had Bulbasaur with him. So Pokemon number 1 joins this team as number 6. For his Alolan team, Ash has a full battle with Kukui directly after his league victory, so I've used his full 6-on-6 team from that battle. And for the second ground rule, while I used Wolf's rankings to seed the teams, I didn't go as far as making Ash's teams actually competitively viable, per se. Instead, to be most true to Ash, that insane maverick of a Pokemon trainer, I rewatched his league battles from the anime to find out what moves his Pokemon knew at the time. I think I got this as close as possible, but some of it was just a bit weird, like Ash's Pikachu knew Double Edge for only 1 episode, and that just happened to be in his battle against Richie? Rightio. Also, some Pokemon used less than 4 moves in their entire stint in the anime. Unfortunate, sorry Muck. While for others, it was just a matter of finding which 4 they knew at that time. For abilities, and actually for gender as well, because his Snivy knows Attract, I used Bulbapedia, and if nothing was indicated, a random gender and the ability that made the most sense was given to that Pokemon. For items, well, Ash doesn't really use them, so I'm not going to do that for him except when it's absolutely necessary. But that said, Ash's Pikachu is canonically OP AF. I'm pretty sure that's Team Rocket's technical term for it. So Pikachu has a Light Ball on every team for consistency. 3 others have items. Firstly, his Incineroar, which has a Firium Z to get a Z move off. Incineroar used a Z move in Ash's final battle against Kukui, even though in his league final battle it was Pikachu using a Z move. But I figure for consistency across all teams, Pika can have the Light Ball, Incineroar can have the Z move. And on his most recent team for Galar, Lucario has a Lucarionite to get that sweet Mega, and Surfetch is holding a Leak because it needs a Leak to evolve. Now, that pretty much covers everything, except that the tournament is a single elimination bracket, you don't have best of 3 in the anime.
So it's a pretty quick show today, just 7 battles, but which Ash will win? Let's find out. And first up, it's World Champion Ash taking on his Unovan team. Immediately, it's Dracovish in for Galar up against Unpheasant. The underwhelming bird has a speed advantage, which means that it takes 2 Vicious Wrens from Dracovish to take it out. Pikachu gets a Thunderbolt off, but also falls to Dracovish. With static on Dracovish, Snivy has a chance to come in and take it out with Leaf Blade. In comes Dragonite, immediately setting up a D-dance, while Snivy says, "Hey, sexy boy," before immediately running away. I mean, would it really be one of my videos if the AI didn't do something weird? With the Dragon Dance up, Dragonite takes out Boldor, then Pignite with Hurricane, Snivy also with Hurricane, and finally in comes Oshawott to be taken out by Dragon Claw. Surprising absolutely nobody, Unova falls in the first round, Galar advancing to the semi-finals. Next up, Ash's team from his Johto journeys takes on his squad from Hoenn. Both teams are in a bit better shape than Unova because at least they have some Pokemon that are fully evolved. And amongst those, of course, is Ash's Charizard, which is actually obeying him for once, coming up now against Torkoal in a fire-on-fire showdown. The AI seemed pretty content for Charizard to take out Torkoal with Seismic Toss, gradually wearing it down. And then in comes Swellow, which gets off an Aerial Ace, but a crit Flamethrower gives Charizard a second KO. Quick Attack takes out Charizard, but then in comes Snorlax, showing off the Johto team's bulk. And with some heavy hitting, Snorlax hammers home the advantage for Johto, taking out both Pikachu and Grovyle. 2-5 down with backs against the wall, Corphish takes out Snorlax, but the damage is already done to the Hoenn team. Showing off some of the dirty tricks I don't usually allow in my videos, Glalie starts to set up some double teams, trying to evade Totodile's attacks. This tactic did work for a while, with some of Totodile's attacks missing the mark. After landing a few hits, Totodile does gradually wear down Glalie's health, but it is taken out before getting the KO. In comes original Cap Pikachu, cleaning up the mess and taking out the evasive Glalie, leaving the Water-type Corphish a sitting duck for another Thunderbolt from Pikachu. Johto advancing to the semi-finals, where it will face the toughest test, the World Champ team. But first, another quarter-final between Ash's Sinnoh team and his champion team from Alola. With the Alolan team now expanded to a full squad, its seeding as number 6 is a bit deceptive. Unfortunately for Sinnoh, it now comes up against a Mythical, an Ultra Beast, a Z-Move Pikachu, Fireball, Crotch Tiger, Rock Dog, and God Owl. But then again, maybe Sinnoh Ash deserves a tough time after benching his A-team for a slightly buffed version of his Hoenn squad, and he wonders why he lost to Tobias? Anyway, the battle started relatively even, with Sinnoh losing Sceptile and Alola losing Lycanroc early on. Incineroar and Torkoal met for another fire-on-fire showdown, and Alola really gained the advantage here, as Incineroar just wore down its foe. Finishing with a Flame Charge, Incineroar boosted its speed, which helped it get a hit off against Gible, getting the burn while Gible went for Dig. But, pro tip, my AI always anticipates 2-turn moves, so with a bird in hand, Alola blocked Gible's attack. Rowlet on the field triggered a switch with Sinnoh bringing Swellow, Alola then followed by subbing in Melmetal. Sadly, Sinnoh just didn't have an answer for Melmetal. Pikachu got off a Volt Tackle and Melmetal triggered Static with Double Iron Bash. But even with reduced speed, Melmetal was unstoppable. With Burn absolutely nerfing the power of Gible's Dig, Melmetal was able to take it out with a Double Iron Bash. Withstanding Megahorn, it also took out Heracross, and then finally it was down to Swellow. Cheeky Swellow tried some evasion which worked initially, but the plot armor could not be sustained with Thunderbolt taking out Swellow. Alola advancing to the semi-finals, where it will face the winner of the final quarter-final between Ash's first league team from Kanto and his runner-up squad from Kalos. And the battle opened perfectly with Pikachu versus Pikachu. Kalos getting the first hit with an Iron Tail, but strangely, Double Edge, not usually had by Pikachu, takes out both Pikachus because of recoil. The Kalos team definitely came into this battle as the heavy favourite, being Ash's first team to actually be entirely fully evolved Pokemon. Well, not Pikachu, but it does have a Light Ball, so good enough. But despite everything, the original Ragtag team held its own early on in this battle. Charizard was saved by a smart switch into Bulbasaur, but Greninja immediately responded by KOing it with Aerial Ace. Down 3-4, and with Charizard on low health, Kanto sent out Muck with Poison Greninja and took it down to half HP. The bulky Muck was tanking every attack that Greninja sent its way, leading Kalos to switch into Talonflame, which speed boosted with Flame Charge, and eventually took out Muck after a Brave Bird, but the recoil left it on just 7% HP. The Squirtle squad arrived for Kanto, but was hit hard by Brave Bird straight away. Talonflame fell to recoil, but Hawlucha finished the battle, knocking out both Squirtle and Charizard. Kalos advances to the semi-finals, where it will face Alola. The final four is actually quite fitting for Ash's character. His three best league finishes are here, second in Kalos and champion in both Alola and Galar. Galar here meaning his World Championship team,
And finally, Johto, where even though Ash only finished in the top 8,
he finally beat Gary in this league, and it also marked the end of his original journeys with Misty and Brock. So carrying on to the semis, we start with Galar against Johto. Definitely an uphill battle for Johto, who immediately switches out the Sparkling Noctowl away from Pikachu's reach. Bayleaf gets a good hit on Pikachu with Razor Leaf, but then Galar switches into Dragonite, who immediately sets up a Dragon Dance ready to sweep the Johto team. Dragon Dance doesn't boost special attack, but that doesn't stop Dragonite going for Hurricane. Good job, AI. Snorlax tanks a Dragon Claw and then takes out Dragonite with Ice Punch. First blood to Johto, but then Dracovish comes out, takes out Snorlax, Thunder misses, Vicious Wren takes out Pikachu, and the sweep is on. One Ice Fang isn't enough to take out Bayleaf, but Razor Leaf does next to nothing to Dracovish, who takes it out on the next turn. Charizard comes out, gets the Dragon Rage off, 40 HP, well done. Then Vicious Wren takes it out too. The Sparkly Boy comes back, Hypnosis on Dracovish, gets a Confusion, but the immediate wake up means an Ice Fang can get knocked out down to 5%. At this point, the result of this battle is without doubt. The World Champ team is just too overpowering for Johto, which put up a good fight, but will fall in the semis. Galar. Moving on to the final, where Ash's World Champ team will take on either Alola or Kalos for the title. Now, I fully predicted that the second semi-final would be the closest battle yet. On one side, a couple of legends, competitive regulars, and an owl against Battlebond Greninja, and I'm only just realizing that half the Kalos team are flying types. Okay. The battle did start pretty evenly. Both sides lost dragons early, and Alola losing Naganadel lost its chance to set up Beast Boost. But then Kalos sent in Hawlucha. Now, just look at that Alolan team. Pikachu is the only Mon left that's not weak to Hawlucha. And the Luchador proceeded to make short work of Rowlet, withstand Melmetal, and quickly sweeping through the rest of the Alolan team. Outspeeding Pikachu, tanking an Accelerock, and wiping out both Lycanroc and the Crotch Tiger. Kalos moves on to the final, and as the seeding expected, it's going to be top-seeded Galar taking on second-seed Kalos for the title. In a way, this also feels right. The team we all expected to carry Ash to the title in Kalos against the team that crowned him world champion. So this is it. Which Ash is the strongest according to AI, Galar or Kalos? Kicking us off, Pikachu opens for Galar against Noivern for Kalos. Pikachu surviving on 1 HP on the first attack, gets off the Electro Web to reduce speed and almost takes down Noivern with a Thunderbolt. Noivern's speed is crippled by static and Dragonite starts to dance. Noivern lands a big hit on Dragonite but falls the next turn, and the AI must have assumed that Goodra could take a hit. It couldn't. But for Kalos, that's fine. Send in Greninja. Dragonite lives on 2%, but Frogger takes the Draco and KOs Dragonite on the next hit. Next up, here comes the Mega. Watch out, Kalos, but if you switch to Talonflame, you can tank that Aura Sphere. Flame Charge boosts the speed. Talonflame takes hits and Lucario doesn't switch, which means on a second Flame Charge it will fall to Talonflame. Kalos takes the lead and it's Gengar for Galar. Looks like they're saving Dracovish for a speed advantage? Maybe? Talonflame falls to Sludge Bomb and Greninja comes in to immediately revenge kill Gengar. Backs against the wall for Galar, but here comes Dracovish. Greninja with a cheeky double team. I do not approve this message and it goes down to Dracovish. Pikachu lands a Thunderbolt, but Dracovish lives and KOs. Down to their last, Hawlucha comes in with a high jump kick, but needs a second attack to take down Dracovish. And now, it's a 1v1. Hawlucha will have the speed, but Sirfetch'd lives and lands its own Meteor Assault, meaning that Hawlucha will fall, Galar will win. Ash's World Champ team is his strongest, according to AI. Ash, we've had 25 great years. Thank you.